The Philadelphia Phillies are back in first place in the National League East thanks to a win over the Detroit Tigers by a score of 5-4 last night on Friday and a New York Mets loss. So the Phillies are in sole possession of first place heading into Saturday's action. Some news yesterday as well that came out was after the Phillies acquired these two new guys from the Minnesota Twins at the trade deadline. Johan Rojas, the speedy defensive center fielder, was optioned to AAA Lehigh Valley to get consistent playing time, consistent at-bats, because he's not going to have that anymore for the rest of the season, with the Phillies now having Harrison Bader, still Max Kepler, Nick Castellanos, and Brandon Marsh all on the roster. The Phillies want him to get consistent at-bats to try to keep developing his game to be an all-around player at the major league level. Welcome into Phillies Daily, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Henley. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. The Phillies had a huge come-from-behind victory, late comeback, really. They didn't really do much at all offensively, really nothing offensively, all game long until the seventh inning. They had just one hit and 0 runs through the first 6 innings against the Tigers last night in that win on Friday. They were trailing 3-0 going into their half, the bottom half of the 7th inning, since they were the home team at Citizens Bank Park in front of the home crowd. Nick Castellanos got things started in that 7th inning with a leadoff single. Then Otto Kemp pinch hit, and he got a single as well. So the Phillies started a little rally there in the 7th inning. Harrison Bader, he came up to pinch hit for Max Kepler there in the 7th inning. It was his first at-bat as a Philadelphia Philly, and he worked a 4-pitch walk to load the bases with no outs. Bryson Stott came up, hit a sacrifice fly. First out of the inning, scored a run, 3-1 Tigers lead. And then Trey Turner, he hit an RBI single to make it a 3-2 game. And then Kyle Schwarber hit a game-tying RBI single for the Phillies there. Obviously made it 3-3 in the 7th inning. The Tigers, unfortunately, hit a go-ahead solo home run the very next half inning in the top of the 8th inning to take a 5-4 lead off of Phillies reliever Orion Kerkering. And then Otto Kemp, yet again, came up pretty large like he did in the 7th inning, where he hit a single to help start that rally. He came up in the 8th inning, hit an RBI double, scored Nick Castellanos, made it a 4-4 tie game. Again, brand new ball game. Phillies rallying 7th and 8th innings. And then Bryson Stott, like he scored the first, or had the first RBI for the Phillies of the game in the 7th inning with that sacrifice fly. Bryson Stott hit a go-ahead RBI single, infield single, I should say, to take a 5-4 lead, and that is what ultimately won the Phillies the game 5-4. Now, going back to the 7th inning, in that rally, tempers did flare for the Phillies, specifically Bryce Harper, their superstar, their face of the franchise. We all know Bryce Harper is a very emotional player. He is very into the game, as he should be. This is his life. This is his job. This is his livelihood. He is very dedicated and committed to his craft, to his team, to the city, and to baseball as a whole. Bryce Harper came up with 2 runners on, 2 outs in the 7th inning. Game was tied 3-3. And he worked a 3-2 count, check swung at what would have been ball 4 to load the bases yet again with 2 outs in that 7th inning. Keep that rally going, trying to take the lead there. But unfortunately, the third base umpire said that Bryce Harper did go around on that check swing for strike 3 to end that rally, to end the 7th inning, tied 3-3. And then go into that 8th inning where where the Tigers did take the 5-4 lead, and then the Phillies, or 4-3 lead, and the Phillies ultimately tied it up and took the 5-4 lead, which they won. But Bryce Harper, very unhappy, as you could imagine, in that situation, started freaking out, yelling, arguing with the third base umpire right away, immediately, once he said he went around. Third base umpire wasted no time in tossing Bryce Harper from the ball game. He was ejected there in the 7th inning for the remainder of the game. Dusty Wathan, the Phillies' third base coach, did try to get in front of them before anything like that happened, but the third base umpire wasted no time, as I said, tossed him real quick. Dusty Wathan too late to try to calm Bryce Harper down or get in front of the third base umpire to distract him from what would have happened. Rob Thompson ended up coming out to discuss with that third base umpire. He was fine, though, and the crowd, as you can imagine, did not like it at all. The Philadelphia crowd, the Phillies faithful, did not like that the third base umpire called Bryce Harper out on that check swing to end the inning, booing like crazy, even into the next part of the inning. But when you did watch the replay, it was a very, very, very close call. Could have went either way. It did look like Bryce Harper just barely broke the plane, and it was a good call, in my opinion, by the third base umpire. Just a very tough situation there in a rally that you were down 3-0 going into the inning. You clawed back, tied it 3-3. You had a chance to keep it going. Very close call on a check swing for ball 4 to keep that inning alive. Called strike 3, end of the inning. Just tough situation. The Phillies did end up getting the win, so that's all that really matters. Bryce Harper ejected, but that's just what happens, especially for a player like that who's very, very dedicated, passionate about his game and his team, trying to win a game there late in the game. And a huge reason that the Phillies did get that win, not only because of that 7th inning rally, but the new 2 faces to the team, the trade acquisitions from the Minnesota Twins. I did mention Harrison Bader, the outfielder, and Jhoan Duran. Now, I'm pretty sure I keep saying his name differently every single time I say his name, but Duran, he's an incredible closer, and we saw that last night in that win. First, Harrison Bader, I did mention, worked that 4-pitch walk during that 7th inning rally. He also scored from second base, showed off his speed a little bit there off of Kyle Schwarber's single to right. Harrison Bader did end up going 0 for 1. He got another at-bat in the 8th inning. He was 0 for 1 with that walk and the run scored. He did unfortunately strike out looking in the 8th inning, but he did make an impact with that walk during that rally, and that run scored as well in his very first appearance as a Philadelphia Philly. So good job there by Harrison Bader. And then Duran came in, and he was electric from the moment he was introduced into the ball game. He had a 4-pitch save there to help the Phillies earn that 5-4 victory over the first place in the American League Central Detroit Tigers. Electric entrance, probably the best entrance in Major League Baseball. The Phillies broadcast, if you were watching NBC Sports Philadelphia yesterday in that win, they even stayed. They usually go to commercial during those pitching changes, the change of the half innings and all. They usually get commercial breaks, but the Phillies broadcast stayed to watch and let the Phillies fans see how electric of an entrance Duran's is. It's incredible. He's got the Undertaker start of his theme song, if you know that from WWE, the bong, bong. The lights go out. He's got his cultural music playing after that. There's lights flashing, crowd going crazy. It's incredible. He's got fire on the scoreboards going. Just incredible stuff. Electric. Gives you goosebumps. And I just cannot wait until the playoffs begin. And that happens in the playoffs. Right October at Citizens Bank Park with Duran's entrance will be electric. And the fans will just be going absolutely bonkers and nuts. And if that doesn't get your team fired up too, then I don't know what will. They showed that yesterday. If you hadn't seen the entrance, go check it out on YouTube or somewhere else that you can find the highlight or the clip, or just go to Citizens Bank Park and hope you see a Phillies close situation to see that entrance by Duran. As I said, 4-pitch save, incredible stuff. The Phillies finally have a legitimate shutdown closer, just 27 years old, 2 more years of club control. Just incredible trade by the Phillies and Dave Dombrowski. And I am just so excited for this guy and what he can bring and what he offers to the Phillies bullpen. It's exactly what they needed. Now, going into today's ball game on Saturday, the Phillies play 4 o'clock game here in Game 2 against the Detroit Tigers, looking to get their second consecutive win, a series win already here on Saturday, going into Sunday's series finale, starting a 3-game series against the Baltimore Orioles. Today is going to be a pitcher's duel, or it should be at least on paper. Zach Wheeler of the Philadelphia Phillies is going up against the Detroit Tigers' Tarek Skubal today. 2 of the top pitchers in Major League Baseball. Skubal won the American League Cy Young last year in 2024. He's the favorite to win it so far in 2025. Again, back-to-back, just incredible pitcher. One of, if not the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. Zach Wheeler, also one of the top pitchers in Major League Baseball, and especially in the National League, right there with Paul Skeens of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Zach Wheeler, we all know, was the runner-up for the National League Cy Young last year in 2024 to Chris Sale, who won it with the Atlanta Braves. He's also a top 2 candidate this year in 2025. Unfortunately, he's lost a little bit of ground to Paul Skeens of the Pittsburgh Pirates, who is the favorite to win the Cy Young here in 2025. But Zach Wheeler's name's right there in the conversation. Yet again, this is going to be an old-fashioned pitcher's duel. Wheeler hasn't had his best stuff in his previous 3 starts, entering today's ball game against the Tigers. Wasn't his A-plus stuff, wasn't horrible stuff out of him, but definitely not what we're used to seeing out of Zach Wheeler. He's had to grind out those starts, let up some runs, let up some hits, let up some walks, and all that kind of stuff. Still kept the Phillies in ball games, but hopefully he can get back to where he was before that, figure things out, and get back on his game today in a huge matchup against Tarek Skubal and the Detroit Tigers, trying to earn the Phillies an early series victory going into Sunday's series finale. Looking forward to it. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Phillies Daily. I'm your host, Mike Kennelly. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. Phillies got a big win yesterday. They're in first place in the National League East. I love it. Great stuff out of yesterday with that late inning comeback and that shutdown save by Duran. Keep it going today. Keep the momentum going against and a huge matchup today. Hopefully they get a victory. Thank you guys again for watching. And as always, go Phils.